Okay, Yashala, we back again. We're going to keep them pumping out at this point because, like you say, the hour is late and, it's getting ready to be destruction up on the face of the earth. So we know this. We know the hour of temptation is up on us. We know all this is unfolding, okay? But sit back and in your heart and mind, just pray, you know what I'm saying, and ask the Father to open up your eyes to your understanding that really, that He's the only one that exists. See, that's the salvation, is to recognize that He's the ruler of all things. See, we can get into that a little bit deeper, but let's go ahead and get going here. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. It's always a pleasure for me to have this opportunity to come before you and to expound upon some of the things that we have been blessed to
bear with me just a moment.
Since we have been in attendance at this place called the Institute of Divine Metaphysical Research, which is a institution that was set up by a man by the name of Henry Clifford Kennedy, who said that he had a divine vision and revelation in the year 1931. And he said that you make me prove it to you until you are satisfied. Now, he knew at that time that most of us had different degrees of satisfaction. But he knew that the only way that we were going to be satisfied was for us to have the same spirit in us that was in him. That's the only time we were going to be in perfect agreement with him. And he proved to us beyond a shadow of a doubt that the spirit that was in him was the creator of the heavens and the earth. Now that's a believe it or not. And I'm here to tell you now, I don't care whether you believe it or whether you don't believe it. Because I said, like I used to hear it sung in the churches when I went there from the time I was a baby right on up to the time that I came into the Institute. We used to sing this song with the greatest fervor. See? That if the devil don't believe it, it's so anyhow, so anyhow, so anyhow. You see? Now, we didn't know what we were talking about. You see? And that's my position now, you see. If you don't believe what I'm saying, it's because you got a negative spirit in you that you don't know about. And I'm going to explain that to you, what I mean by that, see. And you can't believe the things that we say down here until that spirit that's in you is cast down and out. Now, having said that, I tried my best to wiggle out of getting up here on the floor today. And because the reason for that is because of the number of very illustrious speakers that we have sitting out here in the audience. And I know they can do just as good a job as I can up on this floor. And I found out that some of those that I wanted to put up here, you see, because I'm sitting right next to the dean, and he has a little something to do with helping the speakers committee, which is sitting behind him to select the speakers. See, so I know who they're going to put up. And I tried my best to wiggle out of it, but I found out that those that I wanted to put up here were the ones that were suggesting that I get up here. See? But overall, the deciding point was this, see? And that is, I recall, well, I really know that the day is December the 7th. And what came to my memory was that this is the day that the Japs bombed Pearl Harbor some 67 years ago. I was 21 years of age at that time, and I was attending Meharry Medical College, you see, in Nashville, Tennessee. And I was in my room at 1701 Hyman Street. Now, whether you know it or not, in Meharry Medical College, you go and visit, you live it with some of the people in area around the school, you see, and they know all about that. So I was in this room that I was renting, 1701 Hyman Street, with a fellow by the name of Verdell Bennett, who was right from my area in Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio. And the news came over the radio that morning that the Jackson bombed Pearl Harbor, you see. Now, I had just entered medical school in September, see, and this is December, see. And I didn't even have no idea about what that meant as far as my schooling was concerned, see. But just about a month and a half after that, see, latter part of January, my mother called me up and told me, said, Bob, you're going to have to come home because we'll run out of money. Now, that was a blow to me, just entering in medical school, you see, because I had worked hard to try to make provision, but the little money I made didn't go very far when you're attending an institution like medical school, you understand? See, and when she said that to me, she started crying over the phone. Now, I got a point in saying this, because I'm really talking about this man here. See, the one that had this divine vision and revelation. And hearing her crying over the phone and then receiving this bad news, I started crying too. And I told her then, I said, I'm going to make it some kind of way. I didn't bit more know what I was talking about. See, those words just came out of my mouth. But it just so happened that the United States knew that they were going to need doctors, so immediately they inaugurated a program called the ASTP, Army Specialized Training Program. And what this program was all about, they were going to cause various medical schools to train doctors the year round, instead of them having the 3 or 4 month vacation during the summer, like you do when you go to college or any kind of school like that. They were going to have us go to school the year round so they could turn out as many doctors as they could for the war effort, you see. Now, when they started this program, my school, Marion Medical College, wasn't included. See, there were 2 black medical schools, see, grade A now, they were, I don't want you to think they were inferior, see, grade A medical schools, Howard University in Washington, D.C., and Marion Medical College in Nashville, Tennessee, see, but Marion wasn't included, see. So what our officials at Meharry did, they sent 3 doctors to Washington to find out why we weren't included in the program, because we knew they needed black doctors as well as white doctors. So when they came back, they announced that we would be included. Now, that paved my way to continue on in medical school, because from a little kid, you see, I wanted to be a doctor. And just show you how young I might have been at that time, my sister wanted to be a nurse, a trained nurse, and I thought a trained nurse was one that worked on the train. See? They weren't calling them registered nurses in those days, trained nurses. So you see about how old I was, you see. But nevertheless, I had that desire to be a doctor. Now, Dr. Kennedy, this man had said that he knew from the time that I was a child that I was given to him to be in this ministry with him. And he said he had to wait till I grew up, you see, so that I could take this physical body and show how it fits the pattern of Yahweh Elohim right down to a T. And what that does is it gets right on you. Now, every one of you sitting up here has got one of these. And when we get to put the evidence on you, see how you are made in his likeness and his image is indisputable evidence. See, and that is the thing that's going to stand against you in the judgment. Because you ain't going to be able to say, if I'd known you were coming, I would have baked the cake. You see, because you are the proof yourself that he is an archetype or original pattern. Nobody can get around that. Understand? So that's the reason that, see, I'm in this work. And firstly, maybe you don't know this, but the one that called himself all the God there was in a body was a doctor. Maybe you don't know that, do you? You thought he was a minister. See? Get from me Luke 4:23.
And he said unto them, ye will surely say unto me this proverb, Physician, heal thyself.
He said, you'll say unto me, Physician, heal thyself. Now he was a physician. And this man here was a physician. See? There are physicians that have to do with a physical body, and there are metaphysicians that have to do with a spiritual body. And which one you think is the most important? The one that has to do with the spiritual body. And whether you know it or not, we're going to tell you about it. You got a spiritual body right in that physical body. But you've been ignorant of that all your lifetime. And you only think you knew about it what you saw in the mirror, or what you saw looking at somebody else's body. You haven't even known to this day that there is a body inside of this body here. You ought to know that, because every time you went to a funeral, you saw one of these things lying in the casket, didn't you? And didn't you say he's gone? Why would you say he's gone when he's laying right there in the casket? See, that's for the first time in your life you are recognizing the fact that there was something inside of this body that caused this body to tick. These bodies, folks, have never done anything at all in their lifetime. Yours, mine, and nobody else's. See? If there is such a thing as divine ventriloquism, that's what it is. You and I are nothing but wooden dummies. And it's the spirit being in us that makes us say that you just flapping your lips, but the one that's inside of you makes you say what you say and think what you think. You understand? Now, some of you said, the doctor, that you said that Yahweh caused a war to happen so that Dr. Harris could get through medical school. That's not so. Yahweh caused the war to happen because he said there'd be wars and rumors of wars. That's the reason he caused the war to happen. But it just so happened that just like with any war, some people take advantage of the war and others don't take advantage. In other words, some people lose in the war and some people gain in the war. Do you know that for the most part, your leaders like to have a war come about because that increases the economy? See, while you're going off the war to give your life for your country, then other people sitting back at home just piling up money and getting rich. See, so some people profit and some don't. I just happen to profit by a war coming along. See? but we know that this man had everything to do with it, you see. Now, having said that, then, see, I'm ready to just say whatever the Spirit puts on my mind. And let me just tell you this, you never will, see? Never will, see? But get me to the place where I won't have something to say, see? See? I feel the urgency of speaking, you see, and telling you what this man would have me to tell you, see? And the urgency is more now than it has been in the past, see? Friday night, and then our little extra class on a Friday night, see, I made mention about O.J. Simpson, see? And to see that man, see, with the look that he had on his face, you know, when they pronounced sentence on him, I couldn't think of anybody other than the Institute, because I know how sorrowful some of you are going to be. You see, when sentence is pronounced on you, and you go to a permanent place of confinement, having sit up here all these years and listen to the truth, see, poured out to you, and you sit up here and stubbornly and resistantly, see, won't accept it. See, this has never been about you. You don't come down here to get all smart up and wise so you can go out and tell somebody else, I know this and you don't know it. That's not what this school was intended for. You see, it was intended for you to recognize this one that came to us saying that he had a divine vision and revelation. 1 Timothy 3:16.
King James Version. And without controversy.
Now that means, see, there ain't going to be no controversy among those that have come right out of this man's body here. See? Those are spirit beings, just like Kim said. Those are the sons of Yahweh. And there's no controversy between them and their daddy, their father. Just can't be. Why? Because they are him and he is them. You understand? There's no separation, no disconnect between them at all. See? But the controversy is going to be on those that don't have that spirit in them. And you listen, you might not know, but you were made to deceive. Yahweh wrote the script for you just as well as he did for the son. And you don't have nothing. You have the I can't help it. You're disagreeing because he made you to disagree. But we're hopeful that you'll find out about that and want to change. You see? Read.
And without controversy,
Read.
Great is the mystery of godliness.
Now, see, you stretch that great out because this man, our founder, see, had us to do that. See, and just saying great is the mystery. Great. Trying to impress upon you that it is a great mystery. See, this is not no little Sherlock Holmes mystery. See, Stephen what? King mystery or something like that. This is the mystery of mystery. And you're not going to know about it except he tell you about it. You see, you'll be as ignorant of it as you possibly can be all your lifetime. See? Read.
God was manifest in the flesh.
Now that is a doozy. You see? To know that the one that created the heavens and earth came down in a physical body. You see? And because the world didn't know that that was God in a physical body, this is what they did to him. See? Get 1 Corinthians 2:8.
Which none of the rulers of this age knew.
Listen, the rulers of that age didn't know that they were looking at God walking around in a fleshly body just like they were walking around in a fleshly body. You understand? I know it's a hard thing to believe. See, first place, when you think about somebody creating the heavens and earth, only one you can think about is this one here, a man, and you know good well that a physical man can't throw the stars out there in the universe and the sun out there, see, with the thousands and thousands of degrees Fahrenheit that sun is out there. How in the world could a physical man handle something as hot as that? You know that, don't you? But how did he get out there? Somebody had to put it out there. And that somebody is it's an invisible one that you don't know anything about. And he's just as real as you are real. See? But you're going to have to be made to know and hear something about it, you see. And he can do that. He can make you know him instantaneously by putting his spirit in you, you see. Right now, I'm going to get around to that later on. Read.
Which none of the rulers of this age knew, for had they known it, they would not have crucified the King of glory.
They would not have crucified the King of glory, see. Now, do you know that it's possible for you to crucify him again or afresh? See? Because, see, having come 2,000 years ago in a physical body like this, see, he gave you an opportunity, see, to hear the same thing preached by one that preached in that body, the same one that came to us preaching in another physical body. And if you do not recognize that he is the same one, you will crucify him afresh. No, I don't mean you're going to hang him out there on the cross. But because you don't know who he is, you deny him. See? But it would be his turn to get the laugh on you because as a result of you not knowing him, this is where you're going to wind up. You see? Understand? Read. Go back to Luke
1944.
1944. Thank you.
and shall lay thee even with the ground.
Verse above that, Keith.
For the day shall come upon thee, that thine enemy shall cast a trench about thee, and compass thee round, and keep thee in on every side, and shall lay thee even with the ground, and thy children within thee, and they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another, because thou knewest not the time of thy visitation.
You knew not that you were visited by God. See? Read. That's good enough. See? So then, go back to Timothy, 1 Timothy 3:16.
God was manifest in the flesh.
Manifest in the flesh. See? Read.
Justified in the spirit.
Now, see, when we said justified in the spirit, see, when he walked around in the flesh, nobody knew that he was God. It was after he took off this body, you see, buried in Joseph's new tomb, resurrected from the grave, not in that fleshly body, but in that spirit body which he always had existed in from the creation of the world. See, we're going to get you acquainted with God today. You haven't been acquainted with him before. See, he's always been around. See, so after he resurrected from the grave and then came and got down in physical bodies like yours and mine, at the time that happened, he had to cast down and out that negative, ignorant spirit being that you had in you from your mother's womb, and then that got in you was right from him himself. And he knows who he is. So that's the only time you know who he is. See? When you're walking around a physical body like this with a negative spirit in you, it's impossible for you to know him as he really is and as he actually exists. See? And I'm saying that to some of you institutes because I hear you say all the time, Dr. Kenny showed me this. Dr. Kenny ain't showed you an English spirit nothing at no time. Not unto salvation. See? And that's the important thing. You see? It's got to be unto salvation. See? Maybe I better say this so we'll be more in an understandable mood as we go along. See, because some people will sit right up here, and I'm talking about institutors now, say, well, I believe this, I believe that. You've had a lot of things to believe since you came in here. And I put it like this, you believe them because you couldn't refute them. That's the only way you believe them, because you couldn't prove them wrong. Boy, this gospel is something else, boy. When it gets on you, ain't no way you can wiggle up all and just all uncomfortable you want to. Ain't nothing you can do. See? It hog ties you. You see? So, going to the 15th chapter of 1 Corinthians.
Moreover, brethren, I declare unto you the gospel.
You know, when you always start the day, don't know what the gospel is. You said the death, burial, and resurrection of YHWH Messiah. See? And so forth and so on. That's what you think the gospel is. See? Go there and get Matthew 24:14.
And this gospel of the kingdom.
Now, who was speaking? Yahshua the Messiah. And Dr. Kenny taught us a long time ago about this and that, because we didn't know. See? When you said this, you're talking about this. When you talk about that, you're talking about that. See? So what the Messiah said, in this gospel, see, shall be preached. He is the gospel. Because the word gospel means glad tidings or good news. And you don't have no good news in you until you receive of his spirit in your heart and in your mind. Then you receive the good news and the glad tidings. But before that time, that's bad news, bad tidings. See? So read.
And this gospel
See, read, of the kingdom. And he is the king. Oh my goodness. See? And his body is the domain. See? Kingdom. See, the man that made these charges knew what he was putting on these charges. See? See, this is a man here. This is the kingdom. When he said, came to the Israel, he said, the kingdom is at hand. And they're looking at a man. go along with that because you don't have no idea what the kingdom is. See, now here you got a head and a body. The head is Yahshua, you see, or Yahweh, or Yahweh. And the body is the bride. See, the head is the man, and the body is the bride, or the woman, or the church. You see? So when you talk about a kingdom, it's a king that is officiating over a domain, kingdom. And he is the kingdom. You see? All right, read on wherever you were.
And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world.
In all the world. That's another thing. Everything you come down here, we just teach you, see, from the time you enter into this classroom. See, world and age are the same. There was a created world or age, a antediluvian world or age, a post-diluvian world or age, and where he's speaking at is over here in this present kingdom age or world. So this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all what?
In all the world.
In all the world.
For a witness unto all nations.
For a witness unto all nations. Read.
And then shall the end come.
And then shall the end come. You see? Now just to give you a little bit more help to that word world again. See? Go there where it says John 3:16. See?
For Yahweh so loved the world.
Yahweh so loved the world. Which one of these worlds did he love? He didn't love this one, this one, this one. He loved this one. Because this is where he poured out his spirit into fleshly vessels like you and me. See? And he is love, by the way, too. See? We had to give you a new glossary when you come down here. A new meaning of words. Because you didn't know what love was when you come down here. You thought love was kissing and hugging and intercoursing. See? This is love. As we said more recently, since you have to be in him, then this is when you are in love. When you are in him. Otherwise, ain't nothing shaking. See? There's nothing but a sexual infatuation, a lust. You understand? See? Oh my goodness, it's such a pitiful thing, the condition that we in. Dr. Kenny said you'd be surprised at the colossal amount of ignorance that's in this world. See? And many of us don't want to learn anything either. Don't want to stay just like you are. See? You ought to strive to want to be out of the ignorant state that you're in. See? I can talk because I was there. See? But thanks be to this man here now, huh? See, I hear somebody say, I'm so much better. The only time you're so much better is when you got the spirit in you. I can say, I'm so much better. Because of the spirit that he's given you from him. Read on.
For Yahweh so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son.
That's when he gave his only begotten son, was over here in this age here, on this side of the cross. Not over here when you worshiping, baptizing, and you eat the Lord's Supper and getting circumcised and all this kind of stuff, what they're doing out here in these churches to this day. Over here, see, that's what he gave his beloved son, see, into your heart and in your mind, you see. All right, see.
That whosoever believeth in him.
And look, believe it in him. Everything is important now. See, Dr. King said, you pay attention to these little prepositions, in, at, and on. He said they're such little small words, but they have a most significant meaning. See? And I recall when he asked us to look up the word in, I-N. No word like that. Most people sitting up here right now think they know what the word in means. Do you know there's about 33 different definitions of the word I-N in your dictionary? Take the time to look it up sometime, especially if you got an unabridged dictionary, one this thick. 33 different definitions of I-N. And those words are important because the word preposition means means before, and position means place or situation. So a preposition alters the place of the situation that you're in. See? On is different from being in. said, the whole Jehovah's Witnesses said the Holy Spirit is a vital force upon you. Dr. King said, no, sir. It's a vital force in you. And that's made just by the word in and on. You can't use something. So read what it says there. See?
For whosoever believeth in him.
You see that? Not on him. Who's to believe in it? Whoever believed on him. Many of them sitting up here now believing on him. See? Read.
That whosoever believeth in him should not
Now,
perish,
they're the only ones that won't perish. Read.
but have everlasting life.
All right, now go back to the 15th chapter of 1 Corinthians.
Moreover, brethren, I declare unto you the gospel which I preached unto you, which also ye have received, and wherein ye stand,
Read.
by which also ye are saved, if ye keep in memory what I preached unto you, unless ye have believed.
You know what he means if you keep in memory what I preached unto you? What he preached unto you is that he himself is the Savior, and you can't save yourself. Now, if you keep in memory that, now if you don't keep that in memory, then you're going to believe in vain, because you believe that you can save yourself. That's going to be in vain. That's not unto salvation. You'll do that too. Sitting up here, and I know how you, that nature that you have in you is going to leak.